All I'm going to do is ask if the spirit doctors are willing to remove the demonic forces from the places of abuse that you're focusing this, and the answer is yes. So I'm simply going to ask to take any demonic forces of any form, name, or description, take them to the proper dimension, lock them up so they can never return or do any harm. Now, you saw it move. Now, if you watched real carefully and you're skeptical, you're going to say, he moved that with his hand. Yeah, I know my hand moved. It always does when this thing moves from one direction to another. What I would like to do is neutralize the negative energetic patterns upon the place and upon the people involved in wherever you're sending this energy. And it may be you. Let's include you. Because a lot of folks watching this have problems of your own. And we want to help you too. Now, how do we know this? Well, simply you send me a lot of emails telling me that you watched it and yes, it helped you. And I appreciate those emails. I really do. It tells me that what we're doing is working. So we're neutralizing negative energetic patterns in the places in you and your subjects or projects, as you might wish to refer to them, anywhere that you and they have ever been, people you've associated with, and any events in your life. Because we are affected by the energy of everywhere we've ever been and everything that's happened to us. Please remember this. Your energy is your... So I would like to transmute, let's just use that word. Let's transmute all non-beneficial archetypes of abuse, any abusive mentalities, the spirits of abuse, the spirits of torture, the spirits of slavery, any of this type of thing. And let's transmute all this into freedom. Because after all, that's what this is about, is freedom. And the length of time and the velocity at which an instrument moves is a direct indication as to the amount of energy required to correct the problem. And you can see this is taking quite a bit. Okay? And that's the case. Let's transmute all victim archetypes, victim mentalities, and the spirit of victimization and codependency, and let's transmute all that into freedom. You see, this goes back to principle number 1 that I told you a few minutes ago. All things are composed of energy, and the intelligent human mind has the ability to change energy. We are simply changing something that has not served people well, or maybe you, and we're changing it into an energy that will serve you a lot better and make your life better. The human mind has the ability to do this, folks. We have the ability to turn this world into a lot better place, but we're going to have to do something about it. Just wishing for it don't get the job done. Okay, it looks like we've got that done. Let's transmute all thought forms of abuse, torture, suffering, anything of that nature, victimization, anything, codependency, into freedom. Now remember, energy follows thought. If you put your thoughts into you being a victim, by golly, you're just wasting your time and mine here today. You got to put your thoughts into being free. Okay, we want to transmute. Well, first off, let's neutralize. Let's do it this way. Let's neutralize all curses upon you, wherever you live, and the people out there that are being abused, wherever you're focusing this energy, and the places where they happen to be located. Let's just eliminate all the curses here. Now, in one of my DVDs, I believe it's called Energize Your Life, I have a very good friend who tells about how I broke 4 curses on her family, and who all had bad knees that were kind of crippled up, and they all started getting well. And this had been going on for 4 generations. She thought she had bad genes. What she had was 4 family curses. So we got evidence. That's how we know it works. All right, we got that done. What I would like to do is neutralize all self-sabotage, self-destruct, self-hate, self-punishment mentalities of you and those who you're directing this to, plus any other such mentalities that we might not really have a name for. and any of what I call brainwash mentalities, which are based upon the statement of, we are affected by what we hear, whether we believe it or not. That's another reason to stay away from negative thinking and negative speaking people. We got all that done, and let's transmute all that into freedom. Now, please understand here. Let me see if I can give you an illustration. You see the change. So at this time, I'd like to neutralize any non-beneficial vows by any descriptions, any agreements, contracts, or whatever you and your projects out there may have made at any point in this lifetime or any previous lifetimes. You see, we're the product of our environment, our heritage, and our own past lives. Now let's take all of that energy and transmute that into freedom. Okay? So what I'd like to do at this time is to remove or neutralize any and all negative karmic influence. And I realize there may be some of you out there saying, who does this guy think he is that can change karmic influence? Well, I'm just a plain simple mountain man here in the mountains of Virginia that believes that we can change energy, and karmic influence is nothing more than energy. So which way do you think we're going to be better off? If we believe we can do something or believe we can't do it? Well, it's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? You're going to accomplish a lot more in life if you think you can than if you think you can't. But whichever way you think you're thinking on this, you're right. If you think you can't do it, you're probably right. I choose to think I can do it, and we got a lot of evidence to support that. And you can do the same thing. I have not cornered the market on any of this stuff. All I'm doing is making it available to a larger audience. Next thing, or those victims you're working on might possibly have them, let's see if we can deactivate and dissolve any and all non-beneficial implants upon those people who are victims and oppressed and abused. And it must be working, and it must be a heck of a lot of it, because look how long it's taken. All right. What did we do? We simply, and no more than this now, said we want to remove the non-beneficial memory from the water of our body, and we want to do it now. And the pendulum went around counterclockwise. We realized in order to do this properly and sufficiently, we would probably need to adjust the surface tension of the water in our body. And I won't get into that right now either because of time. I want to keep this one simple. We simply adjusted the surface tension of the water in our bodies and in your bodies to allow the negative memory to be released. Okay? Now what I'd like to do is go back in time for each one of you. Before any events of torture, suffering, abuse, dismemberment, slavery, starvation, any unfortunate events of any description that ever occurred to you in any past times, you and your projects you're working on. And I would like to scramble the frequency of these events. That's just a term I use. And I would like to adjust them to the most appropriate frequency at that time. And remove the memory of such events from your bodies, minds, spirits, DNA, and energy field, and from all time, universes, and dimensions as though these events never occurred. And it's still going strong, and it usually does. All right, that's done. Now, so what I'd like to do is take unworthiness, doubt, fear, shame, and guilt and transmute it into high self-esteem. People with high self-esteem and self-confidence are a heck of a lot harder to control. Not only that, they won't be victims anymore. Okay. Well, what I would like to do is go back in time for any of you out there before any events ever occurred that fragmented your soul. Now, that can be this lifetime or that can be another lifetime. And your instrument is going to run counterclockwise. Okay? Very good. At that time, it's going to start going clockwise on its own. I have nothing to do with it. I would like to thank the spirit world for finding the lost, fragmented soul parts, bringing them forward into the present, provide them the most appropriate healing energy, and put them back in your body. That's just about as simple as I know how to say it. Now, I do believe that you will have to repeat something along these lines with a strong intent for this to work for you. And you can take the same words and share them with someone else, but I really think that they're going to have to participate in this themselves. But if you want to do an experiment and see if you can do it for them, well, you go right ahead, because if your intentions are good, you're not going to do any harm. What I'm saying is sometimes there's just a certain amount you can do for other people, and then they've got to get involved in helping themselves. Let's go back in time until the moment you were born. And at that time, let's remove the emotions of the beliefs, thoughts, memories, and conditions that would have prevented you from feeling loved, wanted, accepted, and safe. If these were thoughts of your mother, the doctor in the delivery room, anyone else associated with it, we're including all factors here that existed. Now, that's going counterclockwise, but it's going to stop, and it's going to turn the other way. Whether I do anything about it or not, it's just what happens. At this time, we're going to take all that energy that we just neutralized and transform it into the most appropriate energy that would cause you to feel loved, wanted, accepted, and safe at the time you were born, and bring this energy forward into the present and into the future. And now this does definitely apply to those people, those victims you're working on out there today. We know we can send this one to people. The soul retrieval, they may have to get involved themselves. But this one here, I think we can send to people even without their knowledge. I realize that this is a stretch for your imagination, but here again, I have a choice. I either tell you about it or I don't. Which way do you think you're going to be better off? We have now covered, let's take mass consciousness. Any negative effects of mass consciousness that would support victimization, codependency, and abuse in any form. And let's transmute all that into freedom. See, folks, everything within our world and universe is composed of energy, and you and me can change energy. And when we do, we change the world, and it's going to take a little time maybe, but enough of us get busy at it, it's going to take less time, and you can make a big difference. Now, that's what let's do. Let's make this real simple. I'd like to do this for you, and you go along with it. Let's invite in and thank the spirits of love, gratitude, acceptance, forgiveness, prosperity, and freedom, and peace. That's fine to invite in too. Now, you feel free to add to this, whatever you think would be appropriate. Okay? Now, here is your homework. Every morning when you wake up, and teach other people to do this, every morning when you wake up, you thank the spirits of love, gratitude, acceptance, forgiveness, prosperity, peace, and freedom, and whatever else you want. Why? Because energy follows thought, and wherever you put your thoughts, you put your energy.